Welcome back, everybody, to Sims Complete. I am your host, Matt Sims, alongside the general, the commander of this vessel. Let's see the four-star general, Phil Sims, former New York Giant. How you doing today, there, Captain?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I tell you, it's this little opening here. It's our fifth try getting it straight, so hopefully this will be a good one here.
Oh yeah,
But
you love doing that. You love just peeling back the curtain there and kind of just reminding everybody of how long it takes. But that's also because your mic was too loud. You hit the
yes,
mic with your papers,
yes.
so don't act like this is a one-sided issue here.
Okay. Once again, I'm the problem. It's never the kids or my wife. It's always me. Okay,
That's
but
right.
yeah,
That's right.
good.
That's the part of being a great father. Just take all the blame. That's what it's about.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
That's be great. Love
Uh,
just but hey, let's get into this quarterback stuff a little bit. We'll get
yeah. Who are we
into
talking about today, big guy?
Well, we're going to start out with Bo Nix.
Yes, sir.
I'm for some reason I've lost my power. Now you're in charge of all this, so you acted like you gave that to me. Like, hey, pick whoever you want. No, you just walked out of this room and said, "Hey, we're going with Bo Nix first." Hey, okay, I got it.
Okay. So we can
So it's all
obviously
good.
see here early on, right, as you sit on this therapy chair, that control is an issue with you. But okay, we'll get to some of those things
Yeah,
later
that's
as we
right.
we we unravel, right? We
How
all
did
those
I lose it? I lose it. I lost it. Okay.
yeah.
Well, give me your
Um,
first thoughts on Bo Nix, big guy.
Yeah, so let's kind of just go over, I guess, right now, just the measurables for Bo Nix, right?
Yeah.
So Bo Nix, the senior from Alabama, 6'2", 217 pounds,
Yep.
wore number 10 there at Oregon. Looked good, too, on him, number 10. I liked it. And, this is a guy that has 5 years of college football experience. He started his career at Auburn. Obviously, the story there didn't end that well, right? A lot of promise early on. You saw that he was – can really play, and make
Big.
plays, big, strong, right? All of that, even though he's measured at 6'2", he kind of looks bigger when you see him on film and on TV sometimes. But,
Yeah.
I think what's great, though, is, again, this is another quarterback, just like Jaden Daniels, using the transfer portal as an advantage for him to find the proper home for his development at the position. In 2 years at Oregon, every year that he was there, his stock rised. So his experience, the way that he plays the position, all that at Oregon, everything really paid off for him, though. So what are some of your first initial thoughts when you watch the Bo Nix film?
Well, for Bo Nix, it's a good thing it went bad in Auburn because he got to go up to Oregon. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He gets to run an offense that's all about the quarterback. We're going to throw it basically every single down. And that experience he got in 2 years there, of course, the 2 years at Auburn, but 3 years at Auburn, I think. But all that experience together is a big deal. Why one of the reasons why I like him. And yes, he does look taller. He's long-legged. He's 6'2". He's built to play NFL quarterback. As I watch him, and yeah, it's a quick passing game, which we know in the NFL, 60, 70, 80% of the game is quick passes now. So he does all that well. Screens, quick throws to the outside. He's really good on the run, which they did a lot of in Oregon. He would be on the run, just throwing little passes right in front of him. So those look easy, but they're not easily completed and get the guy right in stride and all that. So, and my last little quick blurt here before we get into other things, he just knows how to play.
Right.
And he understands the game to the T, when to take a sack, when to take a chance, when to be conservative and maybe not take that chance to hit a big play because he knows the score of the game. He knows what's going on with his team, with himself. And I tell you, that puts him way ahead of a lot of NFL quarterbacks, but it puts him right at the top of the class of all these guys coming out this year.
Yeah, I would say when you watch the film, that's the most glaring thing to me when you see him is that you see multiple reps of him just playing the position at its at its finest, right? Going through reads and progressions, the pocket move. You see his eyes. You see. I'm going to use one of those cliches that you hate a little bit, but you see his feet and his eyes match each other as he moves through his progression and makes his decisions. I know that drives you crazy, but it is true, Phil. All right.
Okay.
So, it really is something that I think is very impressive for him. And what I love too, even for him, right? The personal story, I love these aspects of like my quarterback, he's like Andy Dufresne, man. He's crawled through 3 miles of some stuff, and he's come out the other end, clean. And that's what I love about him too, that you can see that he obviously is working each and every year off the field, on the field, on what he needs to get better. You see that he is able to adapt to new offenses and new environments rather quickly. And, I think those things are very important because we see how, volatile the coaching thing is in the NFL, how quickly, you could be with a coach for 1 year and he's gone to be the head coach of somewhere else the next year. So I feel like that's a good thing for him that he's been able to adapt, to adjust to different settings, environments, and coaching staffs and still produce at a high level.
Very high level. To go out there to Oregon, what kind of who they are, and over the years, it's a great place to be a college quarterback or play football in that respect. But to go out there and to become the leader of the team, and I know that's a little easier for a quarterback, especially when you have an offense like they do. But he did take over that leadership. He acted like it on the field. He presented himself very well. And your whole thing, your Andy Dufresne reference, there is a lot to that. As Terry Bradshaw said when we were going to our first Super Bowl, I'll never forget the comment. He goes, well, to get to do this, you got to go to hell first. That's I think Phil's been to hell. So, and I heard him say it, of course, weeks after it was over. And there is truth to it. Sometimes once you hit bottom and you just think it can't get any worse or whatever, you hang in there and look what happens. And he's a great example of that. You said it. Listen, he can make all the throws, off schedule throws. He can move and throw. He can throw sidearm. I think he can throw with power. I heard some of the things when he was down at the Senior Bowl that maybe his arm didn't look as strong as they'd hoped. Well, maybe that's true. But he's a guy, as you can see, and I think we both saw Matt, or can see it in him, that he's going to get better throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Because it's really close now. And it's hard to pick apart what I don't like about his throwing motion.
Right.
So,
he's definitely like Jaden Daniels, very consistent with his throwing motion and obviously just his body positioning for his throwing. There's not a lot of inconsistency. I think both those two guys are the most consistent as far as every throw looks damn near the same,
Right.
And they really do a great job of adjusting their body. What do you think though about like his overall mobility in the pocket, outside the pocket too? Do you think that he's above NFL standards that way?
I do. As we talk about it, if we ranked all the quarterbacks 1 to 64 or 1 to 32, however you want to do it, mobility-wise, he's going to be in the top half of that. Okay. And I'm not going to say he's a blazer, but he moves very well. He's big. He can break tackles. So I'm impressed with the fact how he runs the offense, physically how he throws it. And I think his running is good enough where he's going to be a factor in big situations in the NFL, 3rd and 5. Yes, he's the guy that can figure it out and get that first down, but he reacts quickly to situations.
Right.
In other words, if he feels the situation is 3rd and 5, he sees a little hole open up in front of him. I wrote this down in my notes. He takes off and gets it on the run. He doesn't just get stuck on the pass play.
Yeah.
So I think that's always important. I think it took me a long time in the NFL. I don't know when you learned, but to run on 3rd downs. If they're going to play man-to-man, Dan Reeves, hey, if they're going to play man-to-man, which you're going to know before the snap, if you don't like it, run.
Right.
And not that I tore it up, but, I picked that. But you pick up some good first downs to keep it going.
Yeah.
And it's something that's big in the NFL. And he's definitely going to be very capable of doing that. He ran for 744 yards and 20 touchdowns out in Oregon. So it's not like they play in some small conference. They got some teams out there that know how to play. They think they all know how to play this Oregon defense, tough offense, tough to do. But Bo Nix really was consistent, solid, and I would feel really safe or good in getting him where I want to get him in the draft.
Yeah, I remember this past year, about halfway through the college football season, someone asked me who was the safest draft pick at the quarterback position. And just from what I had seen the entire year, I thought it was Bo Nix, and I think he's one of those guys where a lot of the easy throws look easy. He doesn't miss many of them. And I think that he doesn't get enough credit either for like the simple plays where he's throwing checkdowns and things like that. We're on TV, in the highlights, we're not showing those things because they're not sexy. They're not exciting, but he does those things on a regular basis, very consistently and very fluidly within the game. So I think that's something that is a great NFL quality to have. And to go along with the mobility that you mentioned, I definitely feel like he is one of the better throwers on the run in this draft class for
Yeah.
sure. As far as throwing against his body, creating funny angles, but then being able to get out of those and to throw the ball accurately down the field. There was a lot of plays that popped off the screen there for me on that one. As far as arm strength goes, were you impressed with his arm strength? Did you think it was pretty solid? Like, did it wow you at all when you were watching the film?
Did it wow me? No, I didn't go wow.
Yeah.
I didn't go Caleb Williams. Wow. I didn't
Right.
go, Michael Penix. Some of his, they're kind of ridiculous.
Didn't have the Michael Penix, Drake May, or Caleb Williams wow moments as often.
But he did. I wrote this down. I was going to say it right before you asked me. He can hit the whole shot. In other words, between the safety and the corner, he can drive it in there. Saw quite a few of those. He can loft it up in the air high, turn it over for 60 yards. So I mean, that to me, that's plenty in the NFL. You won't throw him any farther than that. And I actually said that when you were talking. Sideline to sideline, everything's available to him. So what else can you ask for? So he won't have the best arm in the NFL, but he's going to be in the middle of the pack. And there's a lot of guys in the middle of the pack that win a lot of games and they win Super Bowls. We said we're going to do this down the line, but where do you think he goes in the draft? What's your first thought?
I guess my first thought is he would be, I honestly would be a little surprised if he was a first rounder. I see him probably being like a second or a third round quarterback. I don't know. I mean, again, it's one of those things where it just depends on what the market and how that goes with the first few picks and the Caleb Williams situation. But I would value him, as far as a stock price, right? A high first rounder, late in the first round.
Wait, say that again. You said high first rounder.
Yeah, second, late in the first round, excuse me. First rounder, second round quarterback.
Yeah, okay. I kind of see it. The best I think it's going to be is late first.
Yeah.
And, and always you'll hear it on TV 1,000 times. Well, somebody can move in there late in the first round because we'll get the 5-year contract. I understand it too. But that team that does it, I look at it as a team that is really solidified with their starting quarterback and they're trying to hit on a backup and maybe it transitions to a starter one day.
Yeah.
So, but I would think second round, middle of the second round would maybe be the latest I see it. I'm trying to think of teams like if he fell to the second round, the Los Angeles Rams, would they? You got Bo Nix, all that experience, and you know what he is, and all that. Teams like that where the starter, you have no chance of beating him out. But we're going to train you and get you ready maybe one day to be a starter because we got this guy in front of you. I think that's just one example. There's many out there for guys like Bo Nix.
Yeah, I mean, I even see a team like the New Orleans Saints maybe as a team that like all of a sudden says, yeah, hey, let's take this guy. He's there. He's the best one available on the board that's left. And, he could be someone that could be groomed into the position of being the starting quarterback there. So I think there will be a few teams that there's not going to be a lot of negatives that surround Bo Nix in this draft process, and that's where I think we'll see what the collateral damage is of, obviously the Caleb Williams, Drake May situation with Chicago and all of that and kind of how that affects the rest of the class. But, Bo, I think is, I want to go to this now too, just like his accuracy and all that. That's where I think he really kind of shined to me when I was watching his film, right? Is that the accuracy that he continuously displayed was extremely impressive. And like you mentioned before, the sideline to sideline stuff, the intermediate stuff, the stuff behind the line of scrimmage, that's where didn't see a ton of throws where I'm like, man, that got away from him. He missed big, there was, he aims small, he misses small, like your boy Mel Gibson in The Patriot, and that's what was really impressive to me is that I think as far as like we talked about that technique, his arm flexibility, his arm consistency, as far as throwing, the accuracy and decision-making was, high level quarterback play.
Yeah, it really was. You're right. You don't see him miss many plays when you're watching the tape and are watching his games. It's just, there's nothing about him that really makes me nervous.
Right.
So, you feel really good, the family, he's married already. oh my gosh, he played 5 years of his age. Don't you love that? Oh, the age becomes such an age. There, he's 24. What the hell's the difference between being 24 than 22? Whatever. They act like it's you're not going to keep these guys for 15 years. That's a dream.
Well, I mean, I feel like nowadays too, like who cares? Because
it means nothing.
And anyway, like at the quarterback position, I feel like, Patrick Mahomes has been a little bit of an anomaly, right? But for the majority of the position, everyone seems to kind of hit like their career highs or their peak of their performance in their late 20s, early 30s, right, at the position. Because it's really more so about the fact that they've kind of seen it all. They've seen all the different looks and all the different defenses, and they've had so many experiences. They become better leaders. They know what to do, how to react. And, that's where like the age thing to me, I don't really give a damn about it at all. If he can play, he can play.
Yeah, he can play. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's been established. And like I said early, it's a good thing he went to Oregon. Man, I forgot who went up there this year. It doesn't matter. But some of these teams, even LSU, Oregon, USC, where you're just going to throw it basically every down. If you're going to be a transfer guy in the portal as a quarterback, try to make sure you're the guy that can get one of those spots. Yeah, because they're pretty good.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. But so Bo Nix, everywhere you said it right, Matt. Everything about him is kind of safe. Yeah. The coach's son, his father, they're into it. The family, they love football. I mean, there's really nothing not to like. Big, long arms, big hands. So these are all traits that experience all travel well to the NFL.
Yeah, and I think the reason why sometimes he kind of falls through the cracks too with this whole process is that he just, he's just not as clear cut in some of these boxes that you check off where he is exceptional. I mean, Caleb's highs, it's like he's in the top 2 or 3 in the league the day that he steps on the field. Same with Drake May. Some of his wow throws, it's top 5 in the NFL right now, and that's where I feel like Bo, just because of the class that he's in, doesn't quite get that credit that he deserves because he's just not as exotic, of a playmaker as maybe the other two are occasionally. But he can do it all, and that's really the main thing is that there is no lapse in his game like maybe that we discussed in Drake May's conversation.
Yeah, that's right. He does it all, so that's his strength, and it's not one special thing. We don't say he's the fastest guy in the draft. He's got the greatest arm. I will say this. He hits all the routine throws and he makes a couple special throws. That's always my line. Right. Can you hit the routine ones and not miss them? You just can't miss the routine throws. And really in big time college, especially in the pros. And can you make 3 to 4 special throws a game, which you need? That's if you're capable of that, then you have a chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I even see too, like, I guess who would be your comparison for him in the NFL right now? Who does he remind you of when you watch his film?
Oh my gosh, you caught me off guard. Who do you remind? You tell me so I can think of something.
I kind of see like almost a juiced up, more athletic version of Kirk Cousins.
Oh, okay.
All right. I mean, a little more athletic, more mobility, all that stuff. But as far as like kind of the way that he plays tough. He hangs in the pocket. He moves well in the pocket. He makes good decisions. He's got an above average arm or an underrated arm. And, I just kind of see like a little bit of a Kirko Cousins there. But again, just more athletic.
Yeah. Bigger, more athletic. Kirk Cousins is a knockdown thrower. NFL knockdown thrower.
No doubt.
I can't put him in that class just really because of that.
I know, but that's one of the reasons why I said though that it is him because he's kind of that way at Oregon. I mean, God, the guy completed 71 and 77% of his passes in 2 years there. I mean, so to me, it's like that's knocking him down right there.
That is, but. But let me just explain to you, Kirk Cousins is not checking it down a whole lot.
No, you're right. You're right.
They're hammer throwing it. They're throwing it down the field. No, I'm trying to think who it was. I had somebody, but boy, this may be terrible. He's Derek Carr, but he's more mobile and he plays a different game than Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And he, his presence on the field and how the players. I don't know. That's
no, I thought that too. When you said
Yeah.
I was thinking Derek Carr. When you were thinking, I was like, he might say Derek Carr here. So
yeah.
but yeah,
But it's different.
it's
okay?
different. Yeah, I
The
got you.
size, yeah, you got me.
Yeah,
You know what
no,
I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying. I know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll say it, but it's just
yeah,
he's going to run more.
yeah,
Just how he conducts himself on the field. He's a leader, big time off the field. All
Yeah.
those things,
and he
I'm
cuts
sure
it
Derek
loose.
Carr is too. But I'm just
Yeah.
that's who I kind of see him as, that type physically too.
And he kind of cuts it loose a little,
Yeah.
more so, than
Yeah.
what we've seen from Derek. But I think that's a great comp. I like that one a lot. And that's really all we got today for Bo Nix.
Plenty.
Yeah. Any finishing thoughts on Bo Nix?
No, I think as we go along here and as we get done with these quarterbacks, we're going to do a few and whatever. I want everybody to just remember this. We'll end up ranking them, and we might even try to decide where they're going to go and what teams they fit. We're going to take their talent and see who's coaching those teams and say that's a fit.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
hey,
like,
this is our first round of talking about Bo Nix. We're probably going to get another 2 or 3 rounds in, especially when we get to the more of the comparisons with the other draft picks, where they go.
Right.
Some of the interest that we hear from the combine and even from the workouts, the teams that are there and really invested in looking into them. So we'll revisit this a few other times. I know Big Phil gets all excited there. So
listen, I want to tell everybody out there and all the people that say it, all the underwear games. Listen, just shut up. It's the underwear games. They're going to stay there, and is it going to determine everything about the draft? No. But it does give you some numbers and things, to meetings with them, to talking to them, to see them. I think all that stuff's important. If you get nothing out of when they go down there for the combine, if you get nothing out of it, all right, big deal. You didn't. But a lot of people are going to get things out of there. I can't imagine being around the players, watching their drill sometimes, and it just gives you a little bit better hint of who they really are. So
That's right.
So all the ones that come out there and be quiet. I like it. And I like quarterback throwing sessions too.
Yeah.
I want to see them. And I know it's easy. Oh, it's not against the defense. Oh, you know what? I'm being very sarcastic. Let's get a defense to rush him and tackle him so we can really get a feel. That's stupid too.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, we got Big Phil riled up here.
No. My last thing. No. If you can't go out there, nobody guarding these guys that are running routes. If you can't wow people, then you're not an NFL quarterback. I don't know what else to say.
That's a good closing statement right there. And that's all that we have today from the underwear games. That's my host, Phil Sims. I'm Matt Sims. And we will be back with more QB breakdowns here coming up soon here on Sims Complete. Thanks for listening, everybody.